Hello everyone, and welcome back to English for the Elite Students series. I've got an interesting talk for you today, and I'm going to be talking about what language coaching is. Language coaching in general and what actually a language coach is. I'm going to explain the difference between language teaching and language coaching, and I will introduce a concept of some very specific skills such as active listening and powerful questions that are needed for language learning process. This video is useful for English teachers because it could help for professional development and up-to-date upgrade for anyone who are planning to teach English language. This video is useful for English learners because they may consider to switch from the process of mastering their skills with a teacher to a process of upgrading their English with a coach. Then, the first question that triggers your thinking in this area: what is language coaching? There is a lot of different types of coaching, and in general, it is built up around the principles of a collaborative process. You're working together with the client and to help them focus on their present, to evaluate the situation and develop strategic actions so they can put them into their life immediately. That is coaching in general, and language coaching is just quite simply one of the kinds of coaching that takes all those principles and applies them to language learning process. So a coach is a strategic goal setter collaborating with a person. Then logically the next question arises: what is the difference between English teaching and English coaching? A teacher brings in a program and says, look, this is what are you going to learn. This is what you will be able to do by the end of our semester. And this is exactly how I'm going to measure your progress. And the most of the time, it is going to be within these four walls in this classroom. Moving from teaching, which is very instructive, very formal, very teacher-focused, a very directive process, to understanding how brain works and how to learn more efficiently, we come to the definition what coaching is. A language coach has a little bit sense of urgency, an immediate need to develop strategic actions for here and now. With a language coach, success is measured by visible changes in behavior and visible results in real life. A plan is developed, priorities are set, and together with a coach, you decide upon what these visible results are going to be. And that is incredibly important. If you do not preview that, if you don't think of that specific goal, such as I will know that my language improved when I am able to do this, this, and this, if these all are not set, it's going to be hard. For example, I was working with a student who was specifically focused on writing his business correspondence. And it was not the case that his English was that bad. He knew a lot of vocabulary and his grammar was okay, but he just couldn't get all these words out in English. So the visible result in his real life would be to make his business correspondence understandable and readable for all his colleagues around the world. Another example, there was a girl who was specifically focused on online conference calls. There was a little bit issue in her language skills. There was much to work on in her grammar and vocabulary. But the most important, what she was frightened to death to speak out, to speak online. And she had brilliant ideas to contribute, but her fear didn't allow her to participate in the discussion. So the visible results for this lady would be to make her participating in online conference possible and make it happen. It is real behavior change, and we can see the real result in life of both of them, and it is of course based on their English language skills improvement. That is, we would say, a little step forward. What can be a good analogy for coaching? You should use your imagination now. Imagine at times when you are in a difficult situation and you have a problem, and you may feel like you are in a deep well. You are looking up and you see the light and the whole world is up there, but you just cannot get out. Then we think about a teacher, and a teacher's role to help you get out of the well would be to give you some information and say, okay, there are different ways to get out of the well. I will teach you all of them. Then I will test you on all of them. And then when I decide that you're ready, I will let you out. What a coach is going to do in this situation is to get into the well with you, to sit by your side and ask you what you should do in this situation. Then you are trying to get out of the well. A coach is watching you and tells you, this is what you are doing great, and this is a challenge. How do you think you could do it differently? There is a lot of input from the person. A coach is giving you all these tools, but they are not going to give you a solution like a consultant would. A consultant builds a ladder for you, and it is going to be a fast, immediate solution. A therapist would get into the well and talk to you about your past. Why you are here in the well? What brought you into this situation? A therapist is working with you through this process focused on your past. If you are a coach, you're going to say, look, it's obvious you are here. Past is not important. I don't care what led you to this situation. Let's think how we are going to get out of the well. I'm not going to build a ladder for you. I am going to give you these tools to guide you how to build a ladder. I know that you are going to be in this situation again in your life. And if I build a ladder for you, that how you're going to get out of the well when I'm not here. So a coach does not instruct you like a teacher does, and do not ask you questions about your past like a therapist would. The coach is there beside you to help you figure out upon the situation and build a plan how to get through this process faster than you would on your own. So now we know what a coach's role is, but how does it help a learner? It helps the learner move faster. Now, when they have had their first session with a coach, they have a specific goal. When you have a specific goal, you are moving towards something. What can be measured? It is attainable and realistic because you can visualize yourself doing this. And of course, it's time-bound. You know the time, what it needs to be done. It is very powerful. You know where you are moving. I have talked to a great number of people. I have these talks constantly through my last 10 years. They come up to me and say, you know, we have to learn English, or I realize that I need English for my life. And at this moment, I realize that there is a lot of work to do. And then my counter question is, can you specify what exactly do you want to learn? British English or American English? English for travel or English for your work? If you are interested in slang or watching your favorite movies, are we talking about formal or more informal format of the English? At this moment, learners realize that they need to start breaking it down, so they know exactly What is this mini step to be taken to make their specific goal realistic and attainable? All other bigger things in mastering English language skills also have to be done, and we set it aside. But they must know what is this little mini step, what is the priority they have to work on to see their progress faster. This is incredibly important in motivation, especially when we are talking about such a big project as English language learning. I was talking to a great number of students about their biggest challenge in learning English. What was that one thing that they couldn't get over? The students mentioned fear of making mistakes, fear of speaking in public, fear of accent. There was another group of learners that mentioned no money, no motivation, no time. But no one, not a single person, mentioned the language itself. Then I thought, it might be a very good idea to focus them on something different than language learning or study of the language. And it can be that we cross off the option study the language, and we are moving towards the option practice speaking English. The strategy of this transition based on active listening and powerful questions concept. It is very important for a coach to have had teaching experience, but the most important is to master the skills of active listening and powerful questioning. The most powerful question a coach can ask is the simplest one: what do you want? If you can get to an honest answer, you can start making it possible. We should logically group powerful questions into 4 categories, and we may define those groups in one word: grow, where G stands for goal. And the question is, what would you like to achieve? R stands for reality. You need to be able to generate the questions that focus the client on their present. And the questions might be: what is working well currently? What is your approach? What is a challenge for you? How big is this issue? Who is involved? Then O stands for options. We're exploring alternatives, different approaches, how to get to new skills or knowledge. And these questions might be: what solutions are available? What have you thought of? What have others done in these situations? What factors do you need to consider in this situation? Do you have a preferred option? The letter W stands for wrap-up questions. This is a key stage aimed at agreeing the way forward, the plan or the next steps, discussing support which is required. You should discuss any obstacles and barriers that may happen and how to get over them. The examples of the questions are: so, what have you decided? What is the plan? What support do you need? Who could help you? Is there anything that might stop you doing this? When shall we meet to review the progress? It is important not to offer your solution, but encourage self-sufficiency of the client. Your skill is in asking the questions. Ask the question and listen. Listen before you make a decision about the next question. Gaps and silence are perfectly okay. This is what is called active listening and powerful questions skills. At this point, You know what basically language coaching is, and I do believe that you got an idea to consider language coaching rather than language teaching in mastering your skills. And we know that you would love to practice your active listening and powerful question skills. We can support you by giving you a material. You should only give it a go. I know you can do that. It will be, as usually, posted online and you will receive a link to it. Just keep a track and stay connected. Thank you.